Hello, and welcome to another episode of Technology in the Arts. My name is Brian Kelley.
And I'm John LeMasney.
And we are going to continue discussing our collaborative music project and take you behind the scenes, which is what this season of Technology in the Arts is going to be all about. So, John, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Brian. How are you?
Welcome to another episode of Technology. Somewhat. My name is Brian Kelley. I have the live webcast on another window. Sorry about that.
All right.
Okay. Now we're back on track. Sorry. Okay. John, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Brian. How are you?
I am doing excellent. What you been up to?
Well, as far as technology or art is concerned, as usual, I'm doing trainings and teaching at Rider University and Princeton Adult School and Princeton Public Library and various other places. I'm really excited about September so far. And in terms of the arts, the Parklet is closing down. As a matter of fact, the internal memo about the closing of the Princeton Parklet is that it is going to close on October, let's see. I believe it's the 15th or the 13th. Let me just bring it up. Sorry. So October 5th, the closing reception will be held for the Princeton Parklet at 4 o'clock in front of Small World Coffee on Witherspoon, and the Parklet will be dismantled on the 7th. So
that's a Monday, right?
Monday is the closing reception, and the 7th is a Wednesday.
Okay.
So in the event that you're not familiar with the Parklet, the Princeton Parklet is a structure. Parklets first started in San Francisco, I believe. The idea is that it brings community gathering space and art together, usually outside of a cafe, and often it travels around the city. It did not travel in Princeton, but it may pop up somewhere else, therefore traveling, let's say, next year. So mostly the work of the Arts Council, primarily Maria Evans, the mayor, and the borough of Princeton, and some great artists, including Peter Soderman. And my part of the project was the maple seeds that are above the carved oak couch. And those were a collaboration between myself, Peter Soderman, Ned Brown, and Robert Custer. So that's Bellmead Hot Glass and Country Cabinets in Hillsborough, and Peter Soderman, who is involved in lots of things, including Quark Park, which we covered on this podcast years ago.
Well, we didn't cover it, but we talked about it.
Or talked about it, yeah.
It was actually gone before we started the podcast back in 2006.
But I do remember that we visited, or at least I visited and you visited separately.
No, you know what? I was supposed to see Tony Levin, the bass player for Peter Gabriel and King Crimson. The Tony Levin band was going to played at Quark Park, and I got ridiculously sick that night and could not go. And it was a free show, and I missed it. And that was my one chance to go see Quark Park, and I missed it.
Well, are you familiar with Poets Alley?
I've heard of it. I haven't.
Yeah, so Poets Alley is the next iteration of Quark Park. And it's a Peter Soderman project, and the preliminary meetings are coming up. So stay tuned about what is next for Peter Soderman style projects.
The whole time you were thinking, the whole time you were saying that, I was thinking that I wonder if there's any way, because that'd actually be cool in New Brunswick, the Parklet, right in front of either our theater or the State Theater.
Well, one of the things I want to talk to Peter about is having the concept of the Parklet travel. So I think that there could be a Parklet or 6 in Lambertville. I could see a Parklet in Cranberry. I could see a Parklet in New Hope. I could see a Parklet in lots of places, but it requires a municipality that sees the benefit of community gathering.
And New Brunswick does that. They have a, you know, the New Brunswick Cultural Center is very into it. I mean, just this past Saturday, we had an event at the Playhouse, at George Street Playhouse, with our educational touring theater. They do a musical called Austin the Unstoppable. It looks at nutrition and wellness. The play deals with a family affected by type 2 diabetes and the changes they have to make. And there was also the American Repertory Ballet did a couple of performances actually in the afternoon, but it was all in our theater. And there was also a jazz festival going on in the park across the street. And so by the afternoon, I'm getting a lot of feedback. So by the afternoon, you would walk out our theater, walk out the Playhouse, and basically you could walk up the steps of the stage of the jazz festival. I mean, everything was just going on in that one place. So they had a lot of stuff going on. And the Cultural Center in New Brunswick does a lot of good work, so maybe that could be.
Well, if you have an in, I mean, I'd love to have a conversation about it. Yeah.
Before it goes away, I'll try to get some shots of the Parklet. And
there are thousands of great shots. Yeah. As a matter of fact, if you go on Instagram and take a look at hashtag Princeton Parklet, you will see any shots that were specifically tagged with the Parklet.
All right, cool. So yeah, so I guess I said what I've been up to.
Yeah, what have you been up to, Brian?
Well, that event on Saturday got some really nice coverage from Maddie Orton from NJTV, and hopefully a lot of stuff going on with the Pope being in the area and Yogi Berra dying, which tremendous loss. A lot of stuff going on in the New Jersey area. Hopefully, though, the story runs this week, unless it gets pushed back by something else. But I want to share that with you because it was really cool. What our educational touring theater does is like really awesome. It's the fact that these 4 young actors have to learn 3 different shows and tour and go to all these schools and perform these shows, and 2 of which are musicals. It's just mind-blowing that I mean I wouldn't be able to memorize like half of one, you know, but yeah, these young actors do it, and it's really impressive. Oh, and also it was kind of funny. I was at work and working with video and YouTube, and I was trying to find a video for something that we're promoting, and I go to YouTube and I play a video, and an ad comes up, and it's something that we produced. We had a company do a professional TV ad for us, and we're going to be allowed to use that on YouTube, but it wasn't done yet. So I put together like this slideshow video and put a voiceover on it, and they said, okay, yeah, that'll be fine. So I gave it to the company that we're working with for, you know, advertising, and it was just freaky that YouTube served up this commercial basically with my voice on it. So that was like a weird thing today. So just wanted to bring that up because it's freaky when you hear your voice served to you in a commercial.
I imagine that it would be.
So especially when you're not expecting it.
So as far as anything else going on, it's been relatively quiet. It's mostly been September startup, you know, and starting classes and starting new work relationships and things. September is always a great time.
Yeah, and our season is about to, kick off. We're just a few weeks away. Actually, a couple weeks away. The first show is called Murder for Two. It's a two-hander. These two actors, they both play piano, and one plays a police officer who sees himself as a detective, and the other plays all the suspects.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's like a dozen characters that, they don't, there's no costume changes or anything, but they, he goes in and out of personas, and and there's the pianos involved, and it's a sparse production, but it's kind of like old-timey vaudevillian type of thing.
I don't mean to spoil it for anybody, but the piano does it.
Yeah. Actually, it's really out of left field, but the accordion does it.
That would be out of left field. That would be a Brian Kelley production.
Yes. That's my input on the production.
So why don't we talk a little bit about what we did this week towards creating a song?
Sure.
Well, you go ahead.
Okay, yeah, because you have actual content, so we'll deal with you second. Basically, all I managed to get done since the last episode, I figured out how to connect my MIDI controller to Audio Tool, which I finally found the thing you have to type into Google Chrome in order to enable the MIDI controller to talk to.
It was like about settings or something?
Yeah, you actually have to type like something enable / MIDI / something into Chrome, and then it brought up all these like secret settings.
Well, I can't wait to run into that, because I'm, of course, running Linux, and everything in Chrome on Linux is not always the same experience as you would have on Windows or Mac OS. As a matter of fact, I just, believe it or not, just realized that the way that you can watch Netflix on Linux is to not use Chromium, which is the open source project for Chrome, but rather to go and install Chrome. And I knew that there were two different projects, but I didn't even know that Chrome was installable on Linux. I just never looked at it, because I always figured that Chromium was what was running on Linux. Chromium just happens to be the completely open source version of Chrome. And so when you install Chrome on Linux, everything in Hangouts works, everything in Netflix works. There are Microsoft extensions that work. It's really interesting how much is different in the proprietary version of Chrome comparative to Chromium.
Interesting. So I got that I was able to play notes. There's a big delay. Now I found a setting that supposedly will improve latency as I get back in. And let me lower this while I'm talking. And I was playing around with all the different instruments, and it wasn't very intuitive that you would right click to get to the presets. So I spent so much time playing around with the filters and the oscillators, trying to create my own sounds, that I didn't really have time to work out anything musically.
And honestly, the best thing to do for us is to create a project and then share it, and then we'll add on. And
yeah, and once I get more comfortable with it, that's what I was gonna do. Just have a running thing of tracks. Actually, the thing that you have on Audio Tool from 3 years ago, whatever, the bells.
Yeah.
I was thinking, since that's the start of incorporating that somehow, as an intro, and then do something with it at the end that kind of like deconstructs it, and then it leads into whatever we come up with.
I think that's fine. I also wondered how you felt about maybe doing a cover of something.
I thought about that. I don't know. Maybe that's something we can do as a throw-in at the end.
Okay. I don't think it would be as easy as that. I think that if we took it as seriously as we're taking this, the benefit would be that we wouldn't have to create a great song. We could start with a great song and modify it to make it ours.
Yeah, but that kind of limits the creative process. Like that's what I want to get at. I want to
disagree completely.
Huh?
I disagree completely because I feel like you either have creativity or you don't. If you come with something that pre-exists and you modify it to make it more interesting, or you mash it up with 3 other interesting things.
Yeah, I know, but it's not the starting from scratch thing that I wanted to get at.
Yeah, I don't care much about that. We can do that. But
I know. I mean,
because we both have lives. You know what I mean?
I know we both have lives. Let's see what happens. Because you know what? Maybe during the course of this, we wind up with something that, you know, for instance, I recorded a quick, really cheesy cover of Susudio and put it on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Because I was playing around, I was just trying to come up with something, and I inadvertently came up with that, or came up with the dun 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 dun, you know, that part of Susudio.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, well, I should just do a cover of Susudio. So maybe that just happens. Maybe as we're in the process of creating, you know, we get in a place where, hey, this might be usable for a cover of something.
Well, all creative roads lead to Susudio.
No creative roads lead to Susudio. The only reason why Susudio is important to me is that in 8th grade, I sang that. I sang that in the Lake Riviera Middle School Follies to a recording to the No Jacket Required album, and between that, some Beatles songs that I had sung earlier in that show, and my starring turn in Bye Bye Birdie, playing Conrad Birdie, got me Best Male Vocalist that year.
Wow. Congratulations. So like the Beatles, for example, just saying, there's some interesting things that we could do with, you know, Blackbird.
Yeah.
Or Hey Jude, or whatever, especially using a tool like Audio Tool. We could use samples. I mean, it would be work, but at least we would know that we would have an interesting product. Okay.
And
I'm just saying, in your playing, if you happen to incorporate the sounds that, you know, of Lennon and McCartney, it's not going to hurt us.
But then we have copyright issues.
We're not going to sell this. Trust me, we are not going to sell this.
I know we're not going to sell it, but there's still a copyright.
Yeah, but again, with enough
there's still the publishing. I mean, we're still going to be posting it to the internet at some point.
I understand. I'm saying that that's a solvable problem.
All right.
But if we do it from scratch, then we take all the same risks and potentially have shit.
Well, what I was, first of all, let's backtrack for a second.
Okay.
I discussed the problem with Audio Tool I was having, and the challenges that I think I figured out now, but haven't had a chance to really apply. Before all that, so we talked about Audio Tool last week, and I think we decided that that's probably going to be a major part of this.
I think so. It's such a rich tool. I'm glad that you like it as much as I like it, but I don't think that we will learn everything there is to know about Audio Tool in the scope of our project.
But as long as I can get it to make sounds, and get it to record tracks, and fine tune that, I'm good with it.
I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm
if I can do it,
yeah,
there's a very good chance that you can do it.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. So, what I was thinking of doing, or how we would just, approach this, is just, get some stems and seeds together. Just get these little segments, and see what works.
Okay.
Get little, rhythm segments, little bass line segments, and then, if you come up with, some kind of synth thing or even something on guitar, put that in, whatever, and then we can just kind of move pieces around and see what things can work. Maybe we.
So the only question I have for you right now, then, if we are piecing this together in this way, which I think is fine, is we should choose essentially a chord structure and a time signature and a beats per minute.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's.
And then you and I can work separately and not worry too much about what goes wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can kind of figure out a tempo.
I sort of like 80 beats per minute.
I'm fine with that. I mean, it's a little on the slowish side.
I agree. I've been listening to a lot of slow,
but
EDM and related tracks that I'm excited about, and some of the slower things that I've heard in your playlists.
Yeah, and you know what I do like about that is that it's funny. I have this conversation with my wife sometimes where I'll play a song, like this high energy song, and she'll be like, "Oh, that'd be great for running," and I'm like, actually, I whenever I've tried to use music, like I think I mentioned this before, I just don't like running the music because it screws me up.
Yeah,
it screws up my pacing.
Yep.
And the high energy songs I tend to really mess me up because you start going at the same tempo, and for a distance race, that screws you up. It screws me. So I like the slower stuff. So that, in that regard, I like that decision to go with 80 beats per minute. And I've done a lot of, especially in the early days of doing music. Probably the first fully realized song I ever wrote, Time Takes Over, which is on my SoundCloud page somewhere, although it's an updated version of it. I mean, that is probably around 80, 85 beats per minute, somewhere around there. So,
okay. Well, is there anything you want to demonstrate or talk about what you have been making so far?
Well, I guess I just want to mention that, as we discussed last time, I set up a list, and if you're on Google Play Music, it's public. It's a public playlist.
Or if you're friends with Brian, you should be able to listen to it regardless.
Yeah, but nobody's friends with me.
Oh, yeah.
So I will put the link to that playlist if you are a Google Play subscriber, and I'll put that in post for this webcast or whatever, this video, on Technology and the Arts blog. So that way you can kind of hear what I've been listening to and what's kind of driving my musical direction these days.
That sounds good to me.
But I don't really have anything to share. There's a lot of stuff going through my head that I can't wait to get into Audio Tool. Just haven't had the time.
Well, I have had my guitar out, I'm actually using an oversized fun poker chip for a.
Actually, Graham has had my electric guitar out, and I think he broke the volume knob.
This is actually a 12-string that only has 6 strings on it.
Oh, we're gonna do Genesis.
I'm sorry?
We're gonna do some Genesis.
No, I'm not going to do any Genesis. But essentially, what I was doing was I was opening up a drum machine, and the drum machine is actually a Google Chrome app called Drumbit, Drumbit, and it's just a standalone drum machine that you can open up. You can save tracks, you can save MP3s out of it, but I was more or less just using it for a track, a way to stay on track. So I'm going to open up my entire screen, which is going to be hard to see, but at least you'll be able to see it. And on the left here, you can still see this, right?
Yep.
This is Audacity, and Audacity is an open source audio recorder and editor. And if I hit play here, you probably can't hear this, but that's a drum beat.
I can hear it.
And then coming up in a second is a guitar right here. Right, so it's wildly over. You can actually see in this track it is over modulated. It's breaking out of the boundaries because the mic was set up too high.
Right.
But this is essentially what I'm going to do to record the ideas that I want to incorporate from guitar. Is just to do like a click track. There's actually a click track inside.
Yep.
Of right there inside of Audacity, but also over here I clicked on Drumbit in my apps, and you can see that this is Drumbit. So this is one particular kit. I can change it to a jazz kit, for example, and then I can start hitting hi-hats in the drum machine. This is in set 1, and when I hit play, can you hear that track?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so, and then I play with the snare. And if I think that's too much, then I can just switch that out. And I really wish that I had a I can turn on open hi-hats. And there's all different kinds of percussion in this kit. Right, so very simply, you get a nice effect. And you do a sequence up to four of these sequences, and you can have them go through all 4. And then you can record that, and then you can bring that into Audacity and just loop it. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so those are 2 tools that I'm using. And then there, of course, is also Audio Tool, which I'll open up over here. And Audio Tool, you sign in. It takes a minute or 2 to load, but what an amazing tool. Audio Tool is free, and when it starts, you can either go into tracks that you already have, such as Bells of Plainsboro. It loads Bells of Plainsboro. You can see the layout of my effects and racks and things, sequencer. takes a minute or two to upload. Those are the chords that I'm working with right now.
What are those chords?
It's an E major, and essentially that position is being used almost like a bar chord, but with open the parts of the bar chord that you typically lock down across your fretboard. I'll show you. I'm just moving that major position up and down the fretboard. So I'll show you that in a second. I do not want a quick tour. And so anyway, here's Audio Tool. You can see that I have a drum sequencer here. I have a merge here. I have my rhythm composer, drum machine here, an amplifier here, splitter there, some stomp box effects, bass line, and then if I hit play, what's happening is we are getting this real world sequencer. And so this timeline down here is actually managing each of these tools. The Tone-matic, for example, is listed right here, and this is the Tone-matic. So if I just add white dots in here, it's essentially changing the notes being played in the sequence. Now that has a relatively minor sound. Whereas if I take those out, whoops, it will have a more major sound. And that also has a digital delay. That's what this is here. Delay pedal from the output. So this is like a real world tool. You essentially put down one of your tools, you connect it to your soundboard, or in this case, I guess the amp. And it's just like a real world setup. Your output goes to input and your input goes to output and so on. And you can split and merge and add effects, and you can click on these boxes to turn them on and off. And this is just my particular set of objects to create this particular song. If I want to, I can save this and then open up another entire song. So that is our brief overview of Audio Tool. And if I get back into Hangouts and turn off screen share, there's me. So if you can see my fretboard, this is a standard E major, right? You're familiar with that. See if I can show that better.
Barely familiar with that.
Right? That's an E major chord. And if you do an open strum, as you would on an E major, and then just move that position up to another fretboard, or up to another fret, this is the 5th position, 3rd position, 2nd position, 2nd position being E major. But so basically, by having little acoustic samples inside of, I think, an electronic structure, we have a lot of flexibility. And as long as we can gain confidence with a chord structure and a sequence of events in order to build it up and bring it back down, I think it'll be a great song.
Sorry, eyes are starting to go. Uh, we want to use maybe SoundCloud, a SoundCloud account to kind of put, or our respective SoundCloud accounts to.
We can. For what purpose?
Just so like the scratch pad stuff, like what you have in Audacity. It's just upload to SoundCloud, so that way I can just listen to it.
We can absolutely do that for sharing, but it's probably the least beneficial way. Like if we're trying to do anything like a reveal, if we give away all the part, and not even give away. I don't care about somebody else having it.
We can make them private.
Yeah, but I'm saying if we're going to do that, why not just put them in Drive or Dropbox? Is it just because
it's just easier to to get out the SoundCloud app? And, like if I want to listen to what you're working on, you want to listen to what I'm working on. That way,
that makes sense. I think that's fine. I also actually don't care about it being private. But if we go to SoundCloud and I sign in, yeah, it's funny. In SoundCloud, I have like 3 tracks.
Yeah, I have a few more than that.
Well, that's hot. So, yeah, I mean, as I come up with the only reason why I haven't sent you anything yet, even though I've done recordings, is because I haven't gotten the audio right. So once I have the audio to a clear, respectable, usable track, then I'll start throwing it on SoundCloud and I'll just notify you.
Yeah, I totally forgot about this, but I did this a long time ago. Let me see if I can screen share here. Now that's usually an issue. Can you hear that?
Yep.
That was something I had this idea at one point to try to. Oh, I didn't pick the screen though.
I don't know that matters.
Yeah. Someday I'm gonna get screen share right.
Yep.
Someday.
I understand.
Yeah. So that was just an idea I had to do. I was hoping to have like a thing where I was going to try to do like maybe at least one song a week while I was on the train on my phone. But now that I have a stupid 16 gig iPhone, I do have the Mophie space pack, so it's like 32 gigs, but I just don't have the capacity to do it. But I was hoping to do like maybe a song a week on my phone while I was on the train, because I only have like 15 minutes on the train of productive time, so it's not like a half hour, going both ways. But that was like that song was the last thing I really worked on. So.
Well, it seems like we have begun. I think that we have our tools selected, and I think we're becoming familiar with them. We're going to start doing recordings and sharing them, and maybe trying to pull some of this together.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and I think I'm pretty close to getting some stuff down, an audio tool, so I'll be able to share those with you. So.
All right.
And I think that's it. And I'm gonna have to remember to put the link to the Google Play music playlist in the blog post. So look for that.
That sounds good to me.
You are. Does it say how many people are viewing?
It usually does. I don't think we have any viewers right now.
Yeah, usually it's 0.
Yeah, we're staying at 100%.
But I think our what's the live +3 rating? The people who watch after the fact on demand. I think that doubles.
Oh, really? Hilarious.
I think it's 2 times 0.
Maybe we'll break 10 if we get the song out.
Watch the song become a hit. Nobody still watches the podcast.
Watch the song become a hit with somebody else because we Creative Commons released it.
Did everything free.
Yeah.
In France. It'll happen in France.
That's fine. I cannot think of a better place for it to happen.
Because that's Mike Doty. His song "I Hear the Bells." He was I don't know how he found out about it. I don't know if somebody pointed it out, but this French song was in this commercial, I think, and it was his song. It was "I Hear the Bells," except with different French words in it. The same melody, the same. It was almost, the music sounded like it was like they just took the recording and put different vocals on it. But yeah, so that was a little weird.
Well, we should be so lucky.
Yes. That we get covered by some French artist.
Or anybody, for any reason at all. All right, my friend.
Christian can do a cover of us.
That's quite possible. As a matter of fact, I was just listening to something off of that Yoko Ono album. I forget the name of the song, but it's a great song.
Walking on Thin Ice?
Yeah. Is that the song?
Yeah, that's like her biggest hit.
Yeah, that's a fantastic song.
It is. And that's the song last year when we were doing these. Or maybe not. Maybe it was 2 years ago. But I know when she was 80, she did another remix of that, and it was the #1 club dance song in the country when she was 80 years old. So, all the haters for Yoko Ono.
Not me.
Step off.
Yeah, not me.
She's a badass.
She's a powerhouse.
She is. So, all right. I guess we're gonna get to work, and like I said, if the direction takes us into the land of covers, then we can explore that.
It was just a suggestion.
No. I thought about it. I thought about it, and that's why I think I never ever said an original song. I don't think I did, and I don't think in anything I've written I said original song. Maybe I have.
Yeah, and, I mean, it's hard to determine whether or not an original song can even be created. You know, it seems like every sequence of everything has been done 100 times.
Well, I meant, you know what I mean.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I know what you're saying. I think we're going to make a great song.
I have a bunch of original songs.
Uh-huh.
Bunch of original songs. Well, I mean, like you said. Yeah. But they're so original, nobody is interested in them.
There you go. You can have a really original song nobody wants to listen to, but
so all right. Clickety clack.
So same time next week, or I'm sorry, Tuesday next week.
Yeah. When is that? That's the 28th.
Next Tuesday is the 29th. Next Wednesday is the 30th.
Yeah, no, I can do the 29th. I can't do the 30th. Can't do the 1st either. But I can do the 29th.
Okay.
30th, I'm going to see Tears for Fears.
Oh, cool. I'm jealous.
At the Count Basie Theater.
Nice. How do you feel about like 9:30?
We can try that again. Just a struggle to get set up. But we can try it.
All right, I'm putting in my calendar now. And send presentations and talks. 9:30 on the 29th of September.
And that is my sister's birthday.
Happy birthday.
I think it's Mike Schmidt's birthday, too.
Is she a good hitter?
No.
Is she a good third baseman?
No.
Yeah, that theory is busted.
I'm not even quite sure if she's a good sister. It's debatable.
All right, my friend.
All right.
I will talk to you next week. Thanks.
All right. Take care. And all our listeners, you want to do it?
Sure. What am I saying? I'm saying from Technology and the Arts, this is John LeMasney.
And this is Brian Kelley.
Take care. Oh, I stole your thunder.
No. Okay, we can do it together.
All right, ready?
Okay.
For Technology and the Arts, this is John LeMasney.
And this is Brian Kelley.
Take care.
Take care.
Oh.
No, we're going to do it together now.
Yeah, we're going to do it in sync, yeah?
That was your
We're going to have to do it much more synchronously when we do.
Okay. Actually, it was your line.
That's right. I was inviting you.
So, okay. So, I'll do it.
All right.
Technology and the Arts. I'm Brian Kelley.
And this is John LeMasney. Take care.